When we were giving Srila Prabhupada a tour of Bhaktivedanta Book Trust warehouse in Los Angeles, this is before the building on Higuera Street. We had our facility in an old brick building on Washington Boulevard. And Srila Prabhupada arrived in LA and we gave him a tour. And as we were nearing the mail order area, the mail order department, Srila Prabhupada was asking questions about the subscriptions, how many letters were coming. And Tamal began saying, Srila Prabhupada, Swarup, he answers all the letters and he's writing to people all over the world. And he was giving me a promotion. And many people are joining and he's doing, getting a lot of success. And so Prabhupada looked at me and smiled and said, yes, one who has Swarup has liberation. And it was also at that time that I received a very, what I consider a very important instruction, personal instruction from Srila Prabhupada. The backstory is that just a few days prior, somebody suggested to me that I make up a form letter for the mail order department. In other words, people would write in, and if they didn't have any specific questions, they just wanted some information. We had already made a 4-color catalog. Instead of, just put a form letter in, my dear so-and-so, enclosed as a catalog, thank you for your interest, and that's it. And it just didn't sit right with me, a form letter. So, and I was pondering it over a couple of days. So when Prabhupada asked about the mail order and began telling him about this membership program and that I started in the mail, he began telling me that at one time he worked for Dr. Bose, and one of his duties was handling the mail. And he said that even if the smallest inquiry would come, I would answer personally and continue to correspond until they became a customer. So there was the answer to my question. There was no further thinking about form letters. No form letters. Everybody got a personal letter, even if it was one line. Can you tell me about Krishna consciousness? Can you tell me about Hare Krishna? They got a personal letter from me. But a lot of people joined from those letters. And we also had a membership program. In fact, just before coming here, I stopped at the temple over on Watsika, and I ran into 2 people who are mail order devotees, not mail order brides, mail order devotees. One was Jagadishananda, who, when I was writing to him, he was Johnny Gunn from Coon Rapids, Minnesota, and the other one was Ratnabhushana, and he joined with his brother, Manopriya, and they were Wayne and Mark Selzler, 1805 Assumption Drive, Bismarck, North Dakota. So a lot of devotees, a lot of people became devotees. And I like to think that I was working on commission back then, just acquiring or accruing sukriti. And unfortunately, all that credit was squandered. That sukriti credit was squandered by me over the years. I maxed out on those credit vouchers that I had from doing that service. I just felt very fortunate to have such a service. I mean, imagine going every day to your office, and all you're doing all day long is sending people books and magazines and preaching Krishna consciousness and answering their questions and finding out about them and having them join the movement. So it was a lot of fun, and we had great results. On a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan in India, this was August of Janmashtami time, 1974. I think it was Janmashtami morning. Anyway, it was very hot. Well, it's always hot in the summertime in Vrindavan. The flies were very, especially then, for some reason, very aggressive and just very intense and driving everyone nuts. So we were on this morning walk, and as the sun was coming up, it was getting hotter and hotter, and the flies were becoming more and more active. And finally, I got so frustrated and exasperated. I turned to Prabhupada and I said, Srila Prabhupada, are there flies in the spiritual world? And he said, yes, but they're not bothersome like these flies. And when they buzz, they're chanting Hare Krishna. So that was a good enough answer for me. I was able to tolerate the flies a little better after that. As soon as the words came out of my mouth, I felt like, oh my God, did I really just ask that question? Are there flies in the spiritual world? It was valid, and there are. One story about Srila Prabhupada stands out in my mind more than most. I suppose because of the gravity of the situation, what was happening at the time. And I'm referring to, this was December of 1973, when my sister, Manmohini's husband, Sridham, he met an untimely death, let's just say. And Srila Prabhupada was in LA, he had heard what happened, and maybe it was a week after, she and I went to speak with him in his quarters upstairs in the LA temple. And she had questions about her situation and her future. I mean, she was only 25, she had a 2-year-old daughter, and now she found herself widowed, and wanted to know, could she ever get remarried? She had questions, and valid. So I went with her, and we spoke with Srila Prabhupada. And that afternoon, actually, Srila Prabhupada spoke on such a wide range of subjects. And I only wish that there was a tape recorder running at the time, and there wasn't. So I've tried to retain intact everything that was said. But one thing in particular was when he began talking about Sridham. Sridham was Prabhupada's personal servant for some time in LA when the temple was on La Cienega. So I think it was back in '68. So Srila Prabhupada began to speak about Sridham as if like to give a eulogy. And he was saying, so he was a good boy, Sridham, he was my servant. He was driving me. At the time, Sridham had a convertible that he joined the movement with. And so he would drive Prabhupada around LA in this convertible. And he said he was driving me, he was cooking, he was giving massage. And one day he asked if he wanted to get married. He asked me if he could get married. And I told him, you're still young, maybe better you should wait. But he insisted, and I let him, and then he went crazy. This is how Srila Prabhupada was recalling Sridham. Then he paused, and then he said, so we know from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives assurance that one who is on the path of bhakti, on the path of enlightenment, if he falls down, he'll be given again opportunity in the next life. This is given in the Bhagavad Gita assurance. How did Prabhupada put it? He will be born in a big family of yogis, Brahmins, or aristocratic family where there's no impediments. So he'll be given again the opportunity to make progress on this path and finish his business. And Prabhupada paused again, and he said, but he had the opportunity in this life, and now he has to take another birth. So what is the use? So what is the use? And those words struck me like a thunderbolt. And it dawned on me that, I mean, Srila Prabhupada cared so much about us. He did not want to see us taking more births and suffer. I mean, it says that the pure devotee, his only unhappiness is seeing the unhappiness of others. And so it pained him. I mean, his mission was to deliver everyone back to Godhead, what to speak of his beloved disciples. So when he saw us falling down and falling away and wasting the most valuable opportunity, it broke his heart. And so he didn't say it out of disgust, so what is the use? He said it out of compassion. Like, why? Why waste this valuable opportunity? And so that was stayed with me and continues. I think about that all the time.
Jai Anilo Prema Dana